where we're starting with the dry shampoo setting. Don't worry, we'll fix it. It'll all be good. It is about 9 o'clock and we're due for another weekly Q&A. I asked in the Marathoner Facebook group if you wanted me to keep doing these weekly or if you wanted me to start doing them monthly if you were getting bored, and every single person said weekly, so here we are. I'm just gonna pull up the questions. What I do is grab them from the week before on my YouTube comments, so if you want me to answer your question, make sure to comment on a video using my Marcel foundation. Bethany said, love your transparency. It's very admirable. Thank you, Bethany. My question is, do you feel like the changes you're making in your home is a part of your process of grief? Also, do you ever feel like you would move away? Okay, so absolutely. I've been making lots of changes to the house, and if you've been watching the vlogs, you know that. And it's definitely been part of my grief. I needed some things to look different. I needed change in the house. I needed to rearrange the bedroom. I needed to paint the living room. I took down photos and got new artwork. Definitely, it's helping me. Just helps me feel fresh and different and new. Do I feel like I would move? I've had moments of thinking, like, wouldn't it be nice if I went somewhere where nobody knew me and nobody knew our backstory? But those are pretty fleeting. I love living here and I have so much support from different women in the community, and men too, that is not in the plans. I always said I would move if it was best for Thomas, like even before Jeremy died. Like if the services were no longer meeting his needs, or if I felt like he would be better off elsewhere, but so far it's just fantastic, so we're good. And I've built up my business here, and yeah, the big thing is having support and work. Oh, those are lines from the blinds. I was like, how do I have lines on my face? Nope, that would be the blinds. Oh, I didn't tell you, that was my Kat Von D Lock-It concealer. Now I'm going to use this Essence powder, which I talked about this week. I flippin' love this. Melissa asked, how do you and Thomas communicate if he is nonverbal? We communicate because I just know him so well, and I can read his needs, and that's just always been how it's been. And then we use what's called a PEC system, so a picture exchange communication system, where he brings pictures when he wants something, and I'm working on this iPad app that he'll eventually, hopefully, love and use that. Oh, I got a question on Twitter about meditating. How long is it best to meditate, and how do you meditate, and how do you quiet your mind? There's no, like, time. Like when I first started, I could only do it for 3 minutes, and that was fine. I have a friend that only does it for 2 minutes, and that works for her. And how do you quiet your mind? You just come back to it. Like every time you find yourself losing focus, you just bring yourself back to your breath without judgment. It's not like, oh God, I lost it again, and there I was. It's because it's really flippin' hard to have no thoughts in your mind. So you just keep coming back to it. I'm not explaining it well. I highly recommend the Headspace app. It's free for the first 10. And you could just continually do those 10 until you felt like you wanted something more. But he explains it much better. His voice is great. I love it. Mrs. K says, you and your son are such amazing, beautiful people. It brings me to tears daily. Oh. I can't help but have so many questions after finding your channel, so just one for now. When did you start suspecting Thomas had autism? I started realizing some things about my daughter at about 18 months after her well visit. After that, I started looking back and I realized she showed signs from birth. So I do have a video about raising a son with special needs, which I'll link below because it'll go into much more detail. But for us, Thomas, because he has a dual diagnosis, using the e.l.f. palette, initially it was his hearing, because he was diagnosed with his hearing loss like the day after he was born. Honestly, he developed pretty normally until 18 months. He had 50 words. He used to be able to sing a little bit of Wheels on the Bus. Like, he developed normally. for a child with hearing loss. And then he lost all his speech. He stopped making eye contact, wouldn't communicate, didn't want to look at you, and we knew something was up. We thought that it was maybe because he lost his hearing in his left ear and needed his cochlear implant surgery, but then after he had that, nothing improved. So then we got his autism diagnosis. And yes, it was devastating, but honestly, it was so helpful because that was the missing piece for him. And since he had his diagnosis and we've been able to get funding, it has been a world of difference. So it is terrifying to the core to see signs, recognize signs, but I can't stress enough how important it is to get tested, because it makes a world of difference once you have specialists on your side and you understand it and you know what to do. Like, the little boy I have now was not the little boy we had 3 years ago. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, which, as you can tell, is very well loved. Just for a little eyebrow, because I need to get my brows tinted. Okay, this one's from Brits. I would love for you to share the playlist you had on your phone the other day. Always looking for a great playlist. Oh my gosh. Okay. Brits, brace yourself. There's so much new music right now. And I also saw that Sam Smith just announced he's releasing a new song, and Kelly Clarkson. Not only do we have new music from Pink and Taylor Swift and like my little, I can't handle it. Okay, I really like the new song from Rebecca Black. It's called Heart Full of Scars. I'll post them all below. But just off the top of my head, I flipping love that song. The new Taylor Swift, obviously, like Look What You Made Me Do. The song that she released last night, this morning, Are You Ready For It? Took me a few listens. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting her to rap. Oh my God, this new song that I just discovered that I'm obsessed with right now. I also love Tell Me You Love Me by Demi Lovato. Sorry Not Sorry by Demi Lovato. The whole Kesha album is amazing. I don't know what it is about these videos, but I swear they're always so disjointed. And I still have dry shampoo. My mom just called and I'm filming on my phone. And I was about to tell you. Okay, another song that I'm loving right now is by a band called Portugal the Man, and it's called Feel It Still. Holy crap, I'm loving that right now too. So I'll just put a list below. Is that it for now? Yeah, I think that's plenty. This is the highlight I've been loving. It's by Becca. It's in Champagne Pop. So as you can see, oh yeah, and this is the brush I use, a broken elf brush, heyo, which needs to be washed. All my brushes need to be washed, actually. Okay, one question that I've been getting a ton from so many people that I'm just gonna answer now. There's many of you have asked this question, and it's wondering whether or not I'm gonna be back on the radio. And I will wait to do my mascara. That's pretty much all I'm going to wear today. The mascara that I've been wearing is the Voluminous Lash Paradise from L'Oreal. That was a gift from Claire. So many of you have been asking, am I going back on the radio? So if you are new here, I had about a decade-long career. Well, more than that. More than a decade-long career in radio. And I was on the morning show on Sun FM with Farm, who you've seen in videos. He was my co-host forever. And I left that last April to start my own business and to be home with Jeremy and to be home with Thomas. And then last November, I started working at the country station. I'll link that video below explaining why I'm back on the radio, because that's a whole nother story of how that came about. And I got a lot of questions, people really confused why I would go work for another station, so there. But what I was doing was Saturday and Sundays on the country station. I was planning to continue until Jeremy died, and then there was just no way I was going back on the air. Like, I mean, he died on a Friday. Like, my friends had to call and be like, she's not coming in tomorrow. And they have been so incredible. The GM, the program director, all the on-air staff, because they've had to cover for me, like right away they were just like, don't even think about coming back, like this, don't. And like I'm gonna get emotional talking about it because they were just so frickin' loving. And like I had barely worked there, like I haven't even met everybody at the station yet because I worked weekends. So lovely. Like they just covered all the weekends. I'm speechless at their generosity and their love and their support. Lots of them came to the funeral, and I've heard from a few of them since. I really struggled with it for a really long time because to do weekends, now I don't have Jeremy, so I would have to get so much respite every weekend for 6-hour shifts. And I just couldn't wrap my head around that. I wouldn't be making any money because I'd be paying for respite. So I had to decide whether it would be worth it because then I would have a break. But because Thomas will be back in school this week, I just felt like I'll have breaks during the week, and then on the weekend, like that's gonna be our time together. So I really just couldn't see a way that it would work, but I really didn't want to let them down because they've been so great and because I love being on the air, and it was just such a fun way to be back on the radio. So, oh, I think I hear Thomas. Hello, bless you. Oh, going in his room. I said, like, I just don't think I can. I don't like to go back on my commitments. I don't know if you can tell that about me. So they completely understood and offered me a different shift, the midday shift, which is Monday to Friday, 10 to 2. And it's a maternity leave because Jessica, who does middays on the country station, is expecting, and she's due in October. So I have accepted the maternity leave position. So I will be on the air Monday to Friday, 10 to 2. It's perfect. Thomas will be in school, and I still get to be on the air, and I still get to have that interaction with listeners and do something that brings me a lot of joy and be part of a team, see other human beings during the day, adults who are professional. So I found out this week that I was allowed to tell you because I've been getting so many questions. So that's my answer. I'm not going back to weekends, but I will be back on the country station whenever Jess goes on maternity leave from 10 to 2 weekdays for her mat leave. So, ta-da! Yes, I am going back on the air in about a month, maybe? Yay. Yay, so excited. I'm really looking forward to it. And that's going to be all the questions that I answered for today. I need to put on my mascara and get set for the day. So thanks for watching. Please lace up and become a marathoner. Subscribe to my channel. Don't worry, I know there are a ton more questions even just on this list. And if you have more questions, please leave them below any of my videos. And then we'll be doing this again next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.